In the ancient lands of Icathia, long before the void tore it asunder, lived a man who dreamed of bending time itself. His name was Zilean. He wasn't a king or a warrior, but an elemental mage of immense talent, a scholar whose mind danced with the possibilities of tomorrow. Zilean was a member of Icathia's governing council, a city that pulsed with magic and innovation, a beacon of civilization in the harsh Shuriman desert. But for all its brilliance, Icathia was proud, and its pride would be its undoing. As the Shuriman Empire expanded, its golden-armored soldiers marched towards Icathia's gates, demanding fealty. Most of the council saw only one path: surrender. But Zilean, with his unique perception of time, saw a different future. He saw the inevitable subjugation and the slow death of Icathian culture under the Empire's heel. He argued passionately, desperately for defiance. He believed that their magic, their knowledge, was strong enough to preserve their freedom. His words, however, fell on deaf ears. The council voted to submit. Disheartened, Zilean retreated to his sanctum, the great clockwork tower that pierced the Icathian sky. He wasn't just a theorist, he was a master of chronomancy, the rare and dangerous art of manipulating time. He believed that if he could just understand every possible future, every branching timeline, he could find a path to save his people. He dedicated himself entirely to this task, his tower becoming a vortex of temporal energies. Days and nights blurred into one another as he peered into the endless streams of what could be, what might be, and what must not be. While Zilean was lost in his temporal observations, the rest of the council grew ever more desperate under Shuriman rule. They made a fateful decision, a choice born of despair. They unearthed a power they did not understand, a primal consuming emptiness known as the Void. They intended to wield it as a weapon against their oppressors, a final, desperate act of rebellion. From his tower, Zilean saw the cataclysm unfold. He saw the moment the Icathian mages tore a rift in reality, unleashing the Void's horrors upon the world. He watched in abject terror as a tide of absolute nothingness, filled with shrieking, unspeakable creatures, poured out and began to unmake his home. Buildings dissolved, people screamed and were erased from existence, and the very land was corrupted into a pulsating, violet wound. In that horrific moment, Zilean understood. This was the doom he had tried so hard to prevent. All his visions of a bleak future under Shurima paled in comparison to this instant, total annihilation. In a desperate act of preservation, he pulled his tower, and all those within it, out of the normal flow of time. He anchored it in a moment, a sliver of an instant just before the Void devoured everything. It was an act of magic so profound, so powerful, that it came at a terrible cost. The spell worked, but it also backfired. While the clockwork tower was saved, Zilean himself was afflicted with a bizarre and agonizing curse: chronodysplasia. His consciousness was untethered from the present. He began to experience all moments of his life, past, present, and future simultaneously. He saw his own birth, felt the sun on his face as a child, and relived the horror of Icathia's fall, all at once, in a dizzying, unending loop. His mind, once a bastion of order and reason, became a chaotic storm of memories and premonitions. He was a ghost, adrift in the ocean of time, unable to truly exist in any single moment. For untold ages, Zilean drifted. He witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth of stars, and the slow cooling of the world. He was a passive observer, a prisoner of his own perception. But through the cacophony of time, one singular purpose began to crystallize in his fragmented mind. He had to go back. He had to undo the mistake. He had to save Icathia. This obsession gave him a focal point. He began to learn how to navigate the storm within his own mind, to briefly anchor his consciousness in the present. These moments of clarity are fleeting, but they are enough. He can now appear in Runeterra, a shimmering, ethereal figure, a man seemingly both ancient and young. To those who meet him, he seems erratic, speaking of events that have yet to happen as if they are memories, and of long-past tragedies as if they are imminent threats. His path inevitably crossed with others touched by the void. He encountered the prophet Malzahar, who had willingly embraced the very emptiness that destroyed Zilean's home. To Zilean, Malzahar is the embodiment of madness, a herald of the end he fights so desperately to prevent. Their encounters are clashes of ideology, one seeking to avert oblivion, the other to hasten its arrival. He also knows of Jax, the former Icathian weapons master who survived the cataclysm. While they haven't met in the present day, Zilean sees him in the tangled threads of time. He sees a fellow survivor, a warrior weighed down by the guilt and sorrow of their lost home. Jax carries a piece of Icathia in his hand, a simple lamppost, a humble weapon chosen in defiance of his own deadly skill, and in his heart he carries the same embers of hope and regret as Zilean. Perhaps most tragically, Zilean is aware of Kaisa, the young girl who fell into the void and emerged as a symbiotic hunter. He sees her struggle, a person forever fused with the very horror that consumed his world. In her, he sees both a victim of Icathia's folly and perhaps a key to fighting back against the encroaching darkness. He knows their paths are destined to intertwine. Now, Zilean wanders Runeterra, a living paradox. He is a relic of a forgotten age and a prophet of a terrifying future. Every tick of a clock is both a second gained and a second lost. He searches relentlessly for the precise thread, the exact moment in the tapestry of time that he can pull to unravel the tragedy of Icathia. He needs to find a way to rewind history without causing an even greater catastrophe. It is a burden of cosmic proportions, a lonely vigil kept by a man who has seen the end of all things and refuses to accept it. He is a protector, a scholar, and a madman, all held together by a single, desperate hope, that one day he will be able to go home. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the lore of Runeterra, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories.